Hey besties, welcome back. Buckle up because things just got real. The gloves are officially off. After months of Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds flooding the courts with PR stunts, name-calling, and endless smear tactics, Justin Baldoni and his team have finally hit back. And this time, they didn't just defend themselves. They warned Blake Lively that her reckless courtroom behavior could land her in contempt of court. Yeah, you heard that right. Contempt. Meaning if she keeps crossing the line, the court could actually punish her. Let's break down exactly how it all went down. Blake tried to hit Justin Baldoni's attorney, Brian Friedman, with sanctions, basically accusing him of running some secret smear campaign to ruin her reputation. But Wayfarer and Friedman weren't having it. They clapped back with a brutal filing that completely flipped the narrative. Their response? Simple. Blake is the one poisoning the public narrative, not us. And honestly, they've got the receipts to prove it. The filing points out that Blake provided zero evidence showing that Friedman's statements to the press had any effect on a potential jury, because newsflash, there is no jury yet. The trial isn't even scheduled until March 2026. So what's she talking about tainting the jury pool for? This entire motion was smoke and mirrors, and the court saw right through it. But then came the real warning shot. Wayfarer reminded the judge and Blake that back on August 8th, the court had already issued a very clear order. No more disrespectful, defamatory language in filings. That means every time Blake or her lawyer slips in another personal jab at Baldoni or Friedman, they're risking a contempt violation. Translation? If Blake keeps trying to spin her legal documents like tabloid scripts, the judge can actually punish her. And that's exactly what Wayfarer's team just made clear. Keep pushing your lies, and we'll take you down in court. Now, if you thought Blake was still playing the victim here, think again. The court filings paint a very different picture. One where she's been running a full-scale smear campaign not just against Justin Baldoni, but against anyone who dares to defend him. Let's talk facts. Wayfarer's latest response didn't just destroy her sanctions motion, it exposed her pattern of manipulation. According to the filing, Blake and her team leaked parts of her draft complaint to the New York Times before it was even filed. She allegedly urged cast and crew to unfollow Baldoni on social media and even had him and his family banished to the basement during the premiere of his own film. Yes, you heard that right. The basement of his own movie premiere. That's not just petty. That's vindictive. And it doesn't stop there. Blake's lawyers also subpoenaed over 100 creators, content creators, journalists, influencers, in a desperate attempt to prove that Baldoni's attorney was manipulating the media. The result? Nothing. The court filing literally says those subpoenas failed to yield any evidence. Think about that. Dragging dozens of innocent people into a legal fight. Wasting time and money only to come up completely empty-handed. It's not strategy, it's harassment. And here's where it gets wildly hypocritical. Blake's accusing Baldoni's lawyer of making public comments. But her own team has been flooding the media with statements for months, attacking Baldoni in Deadline, CNN, TMZ, and everywhere else they can plant a headline. They've called him an abuser. They've painted Wayfarer as predatory. They've used loaded, manipulative buzzwords like DARVO, a term that describes abusers flipping the narrative, to frame Baldoni as a monster. All this without a single charge, a single HR complaint, or a shred of criminal evidence. Wayfarer's team hit back perfectly. If Friedman's comments are sanctionable, then so are Blake's, times 100. Because unlike Friedman, who's been responding defensively and legally, Blake's team has been waging a calculated PR war, and this filing exposes it all. The documents even list exactly what her side's been feeding to the media. In January, her spokesperson told Deadline that Baldoni's lawsuit came straight from the abuser playbook, claiming he was silencing a woman and using DARVO tactics. In February, they went further, comparing him to predators who retaliate against women who speak out. No proof. No charges. Just reputation assassination through soundbites. By May, they were mocking Baldoni publicly, saying Wayfarer should sell tickets to his deposition, turning a serious legal process into a tabloid circus. They even dragged Taylor Swift's name into the case, trying to rally her fan base by framing Baldoni as anti-woman. But Wayfarer's filing destroyed that narrative in one blow. If Brian Friedman's comments, calm, measured, and entirely within the law, are somehow misconduct, then Blake's entire legal strategy is 100 times worse. Her lawyers aren't defending her in court. They're manipulating the press to smear her opponents. And the biggest bombshell? The filing reminds everyone that Justin Baldoni has never been charged with anything. Not once, not ever. So why does Blake keep pushing this victim versus abuser narrative? Simple. Because in the court of public opinion, you don't need evidence. You just need headlines. While Blake's PR team floods the media with emotional buzzwords, Justin Baldoni's legal team is quietly winning where it actually matters, in the courtroom. Their filings rely on facts, not theatrics. And according to Rule 3.6 of professional conduct, lawyers are allowed to speak publicly in high-profile cases, especially when defending their clients from unfair media attacks. Friedman's statements weren't smears. They were defense. And now the tide is turning? For the first time, the court, and the public, are seeing through the act. The Golden couple's PR empire is cracking, and every desperate stunt Blake pulls only exposes how far she's willing to go to protect her image. Because this time, it's not just about gossip. It's about accountability. And in the fight between PR and truth, the truth's starting to win. Lively's sanctions request? Dead on arrival. But Baldoni's defense didn't just stop there. They flipped the entire script on her, and this time, the receipts are brutal. Remember when Blake leaked her own draft complaint to the New York Times before it was even filed? That move alone broke every rule of discretion. But it didn't stop there. She alienated her co-star, iced Baldoni out of the movie's marketing campaign, and even instructed cast and crew members to unfollow him online, all long before Friedman ever made a public statement. And here's the kicker. Lively now claims Baldoni's lawyer poisoned the jury pool. Yet she and Ryan Reynolds are the ones who subpoenaed more than 100 journalists, influencers, and commentators, essentially trying to silence the internet one creator at a time. The result? Nothing. Zero evidence. Zero interference. Just another overreaching fishing expedition that completely blew up in her face. Meanwhile, Baldoni's side has stayed grounded, building a defense rooted in law, not headlines. His attorneys reminded the court about an earlier order, issued on August 8th, explicitly banning disrespectful or inflammatory language in filings. That was more than a gentle nudge. It was a warning shot. Because if Blake keeps attacking with tabloid theatrics, she's edging dangerously close to contempt of court. In other words, one more reckless motion, and the judge might finally deliver real consequences. Blake might be fighting for headlines, but Baldoni's team? They're fighting for the truth, and in a courtroom, that's what actually matters. Here's the uncomfortable reality Blake Lively doesn't want the public to see. For all her press releases, social statements, and emotional courtroom theatrics, her actual evidence of harassment is paper thin, and the court records prove it. According to newly unsealed documents, the only complaint Lively ever filed with Sony was over one word. Justin Baldoni allegedly called a character's outfit sexy. That's it. No HR filings about unwanted touching, no complaints about inappropriate comments, no documentation of retaliation or misconduct. Just one offhand adjective. And she wasn't even alone in raising concerns. Actress Jenny Slate reportedly filed 2 minor issues during production, neither involving Baldoni, harassment, or assault. One was a comment about a character, the other a concern about apartment safety, which Baldoni's colleague even offered to resolve by paying for alternative housing. Hardly the actions of a predator. Yet, despite this empty record, Blake's media team has gone on a full-blown PR tour, hammering words like abuser, retaliator, and harasser into every headline. It's textbook media repetition. Say it enough times, and it becomes the narrative. Wayfarer's legal team finally called it out, accusing Lively's camp of weaponizing survivor language, twisting real advocacy into a shield for personal gain. It's manipulative, dangerous, and a slap in the face to real victims who actually need their stories heard. And that raises the real question. If Blake Lively truly had solid evidence against Justin Baldoni, why hasn't it surfaced? Why are the strongest accusations living in gossip blogs instead of court filings? The truth is simple. Her story doesn't hold up under scrutiny. This case isn't just unfolding in the courtroom anymore. It's being fought on social media timelines, in gossip headlines, and through influencer whisper networks. From day one, Blake's entire strategy has been about destroying Justin's reputation before a single juror ever hears the case. How? By flooding the media with perfectly curated victim narratives. Every press release paints Baldoni as a monster, while conveniently positioning Blake as the survivor hero. She's even dragged Taylor Swift's name into it, leveraging one of the most loyal fan bases on Earth to frame Baldoni and Wayfarer as enemies of women's rights. It's PR warfare, and for months it worked. But now, Baldoni's team is done staying silent. Wayfarer's attorneys have flipped the narrative by meticulously documenting Blake's own smear campaign, her subpoenas, leaks, and planted media statements, showing the court that she's the one manipulating public opinion, not them. And the timing couldn't be worse for her. That August 8th court order wasn't just a formality, it set boundaries. And if she keeps ignoring them, Baldoni's team has every right to strike back, this time with motions for contempt. That means fines, sanctions, or worse, penalties that could permanently damage her entire case. This isn't just a counterpunch. It's a shift in momentum. For the first time since this scandal exploded, Blake Lively isn't controlling the narrative. Justin Baldoni is. And here's the part no one in Hollywood wants to talk about. Ryan Reynolds isn't just a passive husband standing by his wife. Insiders say he's been quietly pulling the strings behind the scenes, fueling Blake's legal aggression and amplifying her PR war. Wayfarer's attorneys have stopped short of naming him outright, but the pattern is impossible to miss. Every new filing, every coordinated media blitz, every anonymous source conveniently lines up with Reynolds' signature PR tactics, the same playbook that's kept him squeaky clean for years. On the surface, he's Hollywood's golden boy, charming, witty, family-friendly. But behind the curtain, he's orchestrating the most aggressive campaign of Blake's career, one that could destroy everything if it backfires. And judging by how this case is unraveling, that's exactly what's starting to happen. Why else would Ryan Reynolds, who isn't even a party to this case, suddenly be tied to subpoenas, filings, and leaks? Why else would Blake Lively's legal team push narratives that sound less like legal arguments and more like Deadpool-style PR stunts designed for maximum media attention? From the recycled abuser playbook slogan to randomly inserting Taylor Swift into legal filings, the fingerprints are all over it. And here's where the irony hits hard. Ryan Reynolds' behind-the-scenes involvement could end up backfiring spectacularly. Wayfarer's latest filing makes it clear Blake Lively's divisive reputation didn't start with Friedman's defense strategy. The tension began long before that. Freezing Justin Baldoni out of the It Ends With Us campaign didn't just happen out of nowhere. Industry whispers suggest Reynolds himself may have influenced those moves, quietly using his Hollywood connections to isolate Baldoni and control the narrative. But here's the truth. Hollywood isn't buying it anymore. The deeper Ryan Reynolds inserts himself into this scandal, the more obvious it becomes that this isn't about justice or harassment. It's about power, image, and control. And if Wayfarer's legal team decides to put Reynolds directly in the spotlight, things could get very uncomfortable. Because that would mean depositions, subpoenas, and a PR storm unlike anything he's ever faced. This case stopped being Lively versus Baldoni a long time ago. It's now a case study in celebrity privilege, how fame, money, and media power can be used to manipulate public opinion and bend the legal system. And right now, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are Exhibit A. Think about the double standard here. Lively has filed motion after motion packed with personal attacks, inflammatory language, and misleading claims. She's smeared Baldoni's reputation in the press, dragged his legal team's names through the mud, and harassed over 100 content creators with subpoenas that produced absolutely nothing. And yet every time the court lets it slide. Meanwhile, when Wayfarer responds with a measured legal defense, suddenly it's too aggressive. Suddenly, Baldoni's lawyer is accused of poisoning the jury pool. The imbalance is obvious. So why does Blake Lively get away with behavior that would sink anyone else? Simple, because she and Ryan Reynolds are using their celebrity status as a shield. They know the press will echo their claims. They know fans will rally around them. They know that in today's culture, public opinion can be just as powerful as a verdict. But that shield is cracking. Wayfarer's latest filing dismantled their entire PR narrative piece by piece. It documented every leak, every misleading headline, every contradictory statement from Lively's own camp, and reframed her victim story for what it truly is: a carefully constructed media campaign designed to distract from her lack of evidence. And for the first time, that privilege is slipping away. Because here's the thing. Judges don't care about Instagram followers, viral tweets, or red carpet photos. At the end of the day, the only thing that matters in court is evidence. And right now, Blake Lively doesn't have it. This isn't just her scandal anymore. It's a warning to every celebrity who thinks fame can rewrite the rules of justice. So where does this go next? The August 8th court order changed everything. The judge was crystal clear. No more personal attacks. No more smear campaigns. Stick to the law. For Baldoni, that's easy. His filings have stayed focused on facts, evidence, and legal precedent. But for Lively, her entire strategy depends on theatrics and deflection. Every time she takes another swing in the press, she risks violating a direct court order. And if that happens, the consequences are serious. Sanctions, fines, even contempt of court. And contempt isn't just a warning. It's the court saying, you've crossed the line. It damages credibility, weakens legal standing, and can derail entire cases. For someone like Lively, whose reputation is already fracturing under pressure, that could be catastrophic. And then there's Ryan Reynolds. If his involvement keeps bleeding into filings and discovery, it's only a matter of time before Baldoni's attorneys drag him into the spotlight. That means depositions, subpoenas, and something Reynolds has spent his entire career avoiding, having his spotless Hollywood image cracked open under legal scrutiny. But the real danger for the Lively Reynolds machine is this: the narrative has officially flipped. For months, they controlled the headlines, framing Baldoni as the villain. But now, the court record tells a very different story, one of manipulation, hypocrisy, and desperation. The more they push, the clearer it becomes that this case isn't about harassment or justice. It's about power, image management, and weaponized publicity. And the walls are closing in. Because if the judge finally enforces the rules, Blake Lively might soon discover that fame doesn't protect anyone from the truth, or from the consequences of their own actions. At this point, the mask has slipped. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds wanted the world to see them as Hollywood's golden couple, polished, perfect, untouchable. But this scandal has peeled that image away, revealing two celebrities using fame as a weapon, manipulating narratives, destroying reputations, abusing the system to maintain control. The facts speak for themselves. Lively has no solid evidence of harassment. No HR reports, no criminal charges, just one flimsy complaint about a character's outfit being called sexy. And yet she's built an entire media war around it. Subpoenas, leaks, manufactured outrage. A full-scale PR campaign branding Baldoni as a predator, while Ryan Reynolds pulls the strings in the background. But the tide has turned. Wayfarer's filings cut straight through the spin and laid the truth bare. If anyone's poisoning the jury pool, it's Lively and Reynolds. If anyone's guilty of bad faith, it's them. And if the court decides to act, the next time Blake files another motion packed with cheap shots and headlines, she could be facing contempt of court. For real. This isn't celebrity gossip anymore. It's a cautionary tale. Because fame can buy headlines, but it can't erase the truth. And the truth is simple. Justin Baldoni is fighting for his name with facts, while Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are fighting with noise. The only question left is, will the court finally hold them accountable? Or will they keep playing this dangerous game until everything collapses? Let me know what you think. Should Blake and Ryan face contempt for their courtroom tactics? Drop your thoughts below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next explosive update in this ongoing Hollywood showdown.